Okay, boys and girls, it is time for a little lesson on reading and how we can learn to enjoy our reading and choose the right books, okay, and how we can prepare to read. We're going to be doing a lot of this year. So, let's take a look at what we should be doing and what we've learned already. So, what you see there is a little beanstalk. It's a tiny little plant in the beginning, but beanstalks grow pretty quickly and they can grow to become much, much taller than your parents, let's say. They can be huge, okay? And in a way, that's what happens to you when you practice or when you do something over and over again. Readers grow like beanstalks. When you read short books every day, you soon become able to read longer books and bigger books, and you learn more words. And then reading makes you a better writer also. So it's very important for you to read as much as possible. Okay? And this was even mentioned in one of the videos that we watched about how readers get stronger only by reading more and more. We also saw in a video that we had to decide how to read a book. And there are ways of doing this. This book is called The Dog Who Belonged to No One. Now, some of you have read this with me. Some of you are going to be reading it with me soon. Now, if you look at the book, we see a dog by itself, and the title's a little sad, right? The Dog Who Belonged to No One. So we might choose to read this not in a surprised way, maybe in a sad way. It's kind of sad if there's a dog all by itself. Okay? But then if we have a book like this, or any of the Fly Guy books, well, it looks kind of silly, right? I mean, look at the size of those eyes on that fly. So we might read this one in a way that's funny. We might laugh a lot during a book like this. Or if we have a book like Dragon Masters, and we're going to be doing this much, much later in the year, well, Dragon Masters has dragons and magic and all of these wonderful things, so we might read this like it's an adventure. We might read this with surprise. We might read it in a magical way. The next thing we want to do after we decide how to read a book is we want to give it a sneak peek. Now, it says here that you have to think, and how does this book want to be read? And there are a couple of things you should look at before you start your book. You have to think about the book a little bit before you just jump right into it. Okay? Let's look at some of the things we should look at. So here is one of the Rabbit and Robot books, another book that we'll be doing very soon, probably in the next week or two. And Rabbit and Robot the Sleepover. Well, we look at the cover, and what do we see? We see a rabbit with a pencil and a piece of paper, and the robot. That's interesting, but we shouldn't stop there. We should also look at the blurb on the back. The blurb means what's written about the book on the back. Sometimes they write a little bit about the book, a little bit about the story, just to get you ready for it and to give you an idea of what it's about. Not all books do it, but most do. And it says here, Rabbit is very excited. His friend Robot is coming to sleep over, and Rabbit has made a list of all of the things that they are going to do. And then the list says make pizza, watch TV, play, go fish, go to bed. But when Robot wants nuts and bolts on his pizza and wants to play old maid, Rabbit doesn't know what to do. Those things are not on his list. Okay, so this little blurb on the back of the book kind of tells us what to expect in the story. So we look at the front cover, we look at the back blurb. Maybe we can take a little peek inside and see what we might see. Like, whoa, look at that. Look at the pizzas that they're eating. That's interesting. So we know this might be kind of a funny, maybe a little bit of a silly book. Not all books have this, a table of contents. Table of contents tells us what we might find in the book and how the story is going to be shown to us. So, chapter 1, make pizza. Chapter 2, watch TV. Oh, this is the list that we saw on the back cover. So, these are the things we should do before we start reading the book. Peek inside, look at the back, look at the table of contents if the book has one, and of course, look at the cover. And then we'll be ready to choose a book and to know how to read it. Okay, so make sure if you're not reading every day, make sure you get started. You can read on Freckle. We'll be sending books home for you soon, maybe next week. Okay, and I wonder what'll be next in our next lesson. The end.